We are pleased to introduce the University of Birmingham Guide for engaging with groups underserved by research. We define a group underserved by research as a group of individuals whose inclusion in research is less than expected from population estimates, whose high burden is not matched by the research designed for them, or whose response to or engagement with interventions is neglected compared to other groups. To develop the guide, we have carried out interviews with researchers at the University of Birmingham and community organisations and public contributors who have taken part in or partnered with the University of Birmingham in research. We have systematically identified the academic and grey literature describing processes for research institutions to be inclusive of groups underserved by research. The guide has been designed using the University of Birmingham Clinical Research Compliance E-Pathway. This provides a roadmap to guide researchers during the lifetime of their research projects. This includes developing an idea into a research proposal, applying for funding, setting up a project, which includes governance and ethics, project management, and the project end. When developing an idea into a research proposal, research teams need to show how the public has been involved in prioritizing and designing the research, how relevant groups underserved by research have taken part in this process, and who is part of the team. This is done through engaging key stakeholders, facilitating dialogue, co-designing research initiatives, and considering research team composition. Consider who will benefit and if anyone is left behind, particularly those underserved by research. When applying for funding, research teams need to think about the resources needed to do research fairly, so a wide range of people can be fully included and their contributions valued. This can be done through identifying funding sources, engaging with funding bodies, and highlighting community connections. During project setup, when targeting certain groups underserved by research, research teams should provide details of why these particular groups need to be included and how this will be done. This can be done through using the existing evidence, engaging with the community, and clearly communicating the purpose of the research, the benefits, and the risks. When targeting the general population, research teams should provide details of why and how this will be inclusive of underserved groups. They can do this by using the existing evidence and by recognizing underserved groups as part of the general population. Research teams should use inclusive criteria for people to take part in research. This can be done through scrutinizing what criteria are needed to take part in research, use available evidence, and then consider what this means for study design. When formulating study design, think about the feasibility of making the necessary changes. Then, transparently report study limitations on the basis of participation criteria and study design. Use accessible information and consent processes, and inform participants and the public on data ownership. When planning project management, include patients and the public in study management, ensuring the processes to do so are inclusive of underserved groups. This can be done through using diverse engagement methods, establishing community connections, and involving patients and the public in planning for study management processes. At the end of the project, use accessible and inclusive research outputs and share with those involved and the wider public, including those underserved by research. Research teams can do this using a range of communication methods and prioritizing accessible and inclusive research outputs. Research teams can showcase examples of good practice and learn from suboptimal practice by reflecting on their own practice, sharing their experiences, and considering knowledge and practice gaps. When identifying and addressing areas for training and development, research teams can reflect on the challenges and potential solutions, particularly in relation to community engagement and building relationships and patient and public involvement. Thank you for listening.